Hello everyone. We are starting it. Tonight is our first Christmas walk in Brooklyn, and we wanted to get it all ready for Friday morning. What you're looking at right now is some drone footage that I shot flying into the Dyker Heights area, and we'll go over a lot of the houses in the area and stuff. And we're also going to have a lot of drone footage. Well, not a lot of drone footage, but we'll have some drone footage of the area. And but let's just throw everybody into the fire. And this is the first house we are gonna start at. I decided that, you know what, let's just jump into the frying pan, okay? Let's not waste any time, and let's just get it going, right? This is our first house. So you know how you have to watch those really good movies and you gotta wait to the end for the really good scenes? Well, no, we just went in reverse. We started with the really good scene. So this house is located on 14th Avenue and about 71st Street. I say about because it's on, so you can either come up to 71st Street, which is right over there, or you could come to 72nd Street, which is right over there. And very easy to get to by train. If you take the D train, you get off of the 71st Street station, and it's literally just a couple blocks up. Yeah, a big truck just went by me. So we're gonna get a closer look at this house, and yeah, we're going to talk about where we're going to walk tonight. I know we didn't do a proper introduction. We just said, let's look at this house. But we're going to talk about where we're going to be tonight. And the great thing about this walk is I live in the neighborhood. So you will get a perspective from somebody that lives in the neighborhood for 40 years. And I'll talk about things like, the stuff we have to deal with, like traffic and crowd control. I might even talk about some of the myths that people like to say, as far as people will say things that just aren't true, just to make things more interesting. So we'll go over that. But we'll do a real quick look. And if you look in here, they've got, a big case filled of all these little miniature. They got a Ferris wheel in, they got a town. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. There you go. Got the dancing Santa and the dancing snowman. Nativity. And in the street, we have a little turnaround. And this is the side of the house. The side of the house has a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is the way you start a Christmas walk right here. You got you got Santa Claus and all the reindeer going over 14th Avenue. And then what we're gonna do is get back across the street. And this house is so bright that the whole street is lit up. I mean, this is the house across the street. So look at the houses across the street. The houses across the street are bathed in light. Okay? And you can see they all have their shades down. I'm not going to even try to imagine what they, probably what they feel about this house right across the street from them. But this is going to be going on until New Year's. I'm filming this on November 30th, November 29th. So we got over a month of this house lighting 14th Avenue if you want to, if you want to land a plane on 14th Avenue, very easy to do. So there you go. Now, let me just talk about how we're going to do this today. I'll take one more look. I'm trying to cross the street. I got all these cars coming at me. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we are going to walk back into my neighborhood. Well, we're in the end of Dyker. So this is the end of Dyker Heights right here. So we're still in my neighborhood. We're still in Dyker Heights, but we're moving deeper into the neighborhood. We're moving back towards where I live. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk, but we're going to cut into some scenes because there's some houses on some of the side streets that I want to hit before we get to the heart of the lights. So we'll be doing a lot of walking when we get to like 84th Street and 83rd Street and up there. But we will also stop at like some of these smaller houses. You got some inflatables. You got Santa Claus. You got this house here. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk along, but I'm not going to do like my normal where I keep the camera rolling. So we're going to move around the neighborhood and we'll go to other scenes. And then eventually when we get to like 84th Street, we get in that area, the 80s, we'll keep the camera rolling because that's where, all the houses are just all stacked next to each other. So we'll just keep the camera rolling. And at that point, we'll kind of, that's when we'll do a lot of the commentary about, the neighborhood over the years and how everything started and, just going over some of the drone footage that I shot in the last few nights. And that's it. So we're going to be going to the next house. So stay tuned. In a second, we'll be cutting to the next house, a house that I found just a couple of blocks over that is in the process of being decorated at the moment. So come right back. Okay, we're back. So we're just a few blocks over and I just wanted to stop in. So this is a house right now that is currently being decorated. You can see the ladders are up. Here's somebody over there doing the lights. And this is a house. So as you can see, not all the houses are finished. People are just finishing up. It is not December 1st yet. You still got some time to get a lot of these houses going. This is one of the houses. Nice house. They're just still putting the lights up right now. And then over here, come down here for a second. We've got some lights going on here. We got a house here, a couple of houses. And it looks like they're also just wrapping up some decorations. You can see, like, when you come early, you're going to see a lot of these houses are just wrapping up the decorations. These are some of the smaller houses. I don't like to leave out all the houses. I like to get all the small houses because they put in a lot of work. They may not be as big as the houses in Dyker Heights. We're in Dyker Heights, but this might be not as big as the houses on the 80s, but there's still, a lot of work that goes into these houses. And then we got this house right here, next door. Nice big wreath on the window. I don't know if you can see that wreath. That wreath on the window over there. There you go. This is a nice house. Nice and simple. Nothing too crazy. Okay. And then across the street, we have this house. There's another nice, you know, simple house. Nothing too crazy. Some blue lights and some, you got an angel and looks like 2 reindeer up there on the top. And there you go. All right. All right. So there you go. And we're walking by those houses again. All right, so we're going to be moving along. And when I come back, I will be a few blocks over, and I'm going to show you this. Well, there's going to be another house, and then I will show you this little case that has all these weird little miniature stuff, characters and stuff in them. But stay tuned, we'll see that in a second. All right, so we're coming up onto another house, another good-looking house. Nothing, again, after I just hit you all over the head with that first house, I got to kind of bring you guys back down, right? I don't want I don't want to burn you guys out and go straight into the heart of Dyker Heights. So, but this is a nice house. This is just without the lights, it's a beautiful house. And what they have is, looks like they have like a color sequence going. They got, you know, a couple of inflatables. They got Frosty the Snowman there and Santa Claus, and they got some holographic stuff. You got Santa and snowflakes. You look up there, you got some lights that go all the way up to the top of the house with the wreath. And the Christmas tree is not lit, but there is a big Christmas tree in that window just above the door. It's not lit up that yet. So, and it looks like they would have some things maybe in the window, but it's a beautiful house. There you go. All right, so the next spot we're gonna hit is this little case that's outside this house. It's actually not a little case, it's actually a big case, encasement. And well, let's just go over there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are on, we're close to 80th Street, we're on 14th Avenue. And this is the house I was telling you about that has this big display of everything. I don't know how to describe it. They do this every year, but it's really cool. They got a lot of stuff in here, so we'll go through this. You got like you got water in there. Do you see that water dripping in that? It looks like a fountain. And there you go. All these little figurines. Got an angel hanging right there. People throw money in here, by the way, tips. You can see a dollar bill right there. This is really cool. This is right off of 80th Street and 14th Avenue. So if you look at the top, it goes all the way to the back. So now we're going to look all the way to the back. There you go. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. Got a whole bunch of cherubs hanging on the top with the cloud. You see a little cloud above them. Alright, so there you go. This is the case I was telling you about on 14th Avenue and 80th Street. And before we walk to the next section of our walk, we'll stop and, you know, give a little recognition to this smaller house. Got the Christmas tree out there with the lights up the gate. All right, on to the next one. All right, we are coming up one of the side streets as we make our way to the heart of the show. That is a big reindeer. This is 2 nice houses right here. Now, I haven't been really doing a lot of commentary in the first half because we've been skipping around to some houses, but just to give you an idea, this is going to be the first of a few of our Christmas walks. We're going to start out, with these houses and then get into the heart of the neighborhood. And, like I said, when we get close, we'll just keep the camera running. And we'll do a lot of the commentary. We'll talk about the neighborhood over the years and how everything has changed. I'm going to show some drone footage. I'm also going to mix in some pictures of some houses of what they used to look like years ago. So stay tuned for that, because some of the houses, they have new owners and they don't decorate, or they don't decorate the way the old owners did. So we'll be mixing in some of pictures in there, but stay tuned, because after this house right here that we're doing, we're about to really move into the heart of it, and we're probably going to be keeping the camera on more. But what I like to do is I like to just skip around. Eventually, what will happen is after we do this walk, after this walk is over, there'll be more walks where we walk around to other parts of Brooklyn and maybe go out into Staten Island and look for more houses, because there's a lot of neighborhoods that decorate for Christmas. And this is just a nice, pretty house. Let's look at these lights closer here. You got some of the lights here. The big Christmas bulb, traditional Christmas bulb. And you got the snowman. And then of course we got the windows up there. If you see, the windows are all done. There you go. All right, so we're about to head into the heart of it, so stay tuned. It's about to get very bright. All right, guys, we have reached the neighborhood, and we are going to start keeping the camera on longer and just start walking around and looking at some of these houses. Now, as I've said a few times, I live in this neighborhood, so I've been looking at these houses for many years. Now, I will be honest, a lot of the houses that you see today, right, they are not, let's just say they haven't been doing them for like the last 30-40 years. It wasn't always like this. A lot of these houses over the years, it just more and more pop up. But I would say, the early 90s to late 90s is when it started. And then eventually what happened is it caught on like wildfire, and it just kept going. And I would say since about 2006, 2007 was where it really picked up, and a lot of the houses on each block started decorating their houses like everybody else. So as you can see here, this house has a lot of stuff going on. Now, one of the myths I'm going to dispel, because I've seen people talking about it on, I saw, as a matter of fact, there was somebody I was watching on Twitch the other night. It was a girl, it was a young girl. And it was funny because she was here from California, so I don't know how she had this information, but she had stated that the houses in Dyker Heights that do all the Christmas lights do not have to pay their electric bill. That is false. Just like when you jack your electric bill up in the summertime when it's hot and you throw that AC on all day 24/7, you get that high electric bill. Well, it doesn't change in Christmas when you light your house up and jack the electric bill up. So if you ever hear anybody tell you that they don't pay electric bills, that is not true. These people definitely pay their electric bill. All the houses do.
La paralela.
Get that cool gingerbread. These are cool. I like these. These are really cool. This is one of the newer houses. I don't want to say new as of this year, but definitely newer in the last 10 years.
Ma non lo capite che Babbo Natale vi guarda? Raga, la faccio. Sorridi, Lori. Lavi, Stella.
All right. Let's get across the street real quick. And look at these houses. Well, we got a lot of houses to go tonight, man. We'll just start doing some walking by. We won't stay. Unless there's something really big we want to look at, we will stop. But we want to start moving around. This is always a nice house right here. I love this house. Every time I come down this block on the way home, I love walking by this house. You got the elves, you got Santa Claus. There's Santa Claus right there. Really pretty the way they do this. And a nice big Christmas tree coming up. Just stand by. And there goes the Christmas tree right up above the garage. There you go. Over here we got some houses that got some, some basic lights. Nothing crazy. And then we have a house right here. Beautiful house. There you go. And we're now making our way onto 12th Avenue. Yeah, so growing up, here watching this, wasn't always like this. Started with Lucy's house. We'll get into who Lucy is, and you probably already know, but she has the big house that everybody shows up at on 84th Street. She started with her house, and eventually it just grew like wildfire. And there are some houses that are no longer around. Like the houses are around, but the decorations aren't around. There was one really nice house we used to call it the Scrooge house. And basically it was a house up on 84th Street. It was the next block up from Lucy's house. It was on 84th Street between 11th and 10th Avenue. We're going to go to that house, by the way. It's actually a newer house that they had built on the property. But we're going to go over there. But that house used to have all of the characters from Christmas Carol. Like you had Jacob Marley, you had all the ghosts from Ghosts of Past, Present, and Future. You had Scrooge when he was young dancing with his, I guess, love, and then you had him when he was old. But that house they don't do that house no more. That's been gone a long time, those decorations. Looks like they got a, can you see that? They got like it looks like a Santa inside, but that looks like it might be a screen. I think that's a screen. Call me crazy, but I can't tell from here. Whatever it is, it's cool. There's a bunch of snow flowing around. So maybe, the way it looks, it probably is not a screen. It's probably like an encasement, and it's just blowing the snow around. So, okay. All right, so we are getting into it. Now, like I said earlier, we shot some drone footage. So what I'm showing you right now is drone footage. It's the same drone footage that we started the video with, but we're showing it again. And this is footage I shot as we're flying from, I guess, the 13th Avenue region up into where we are now. And if you watch, you can see that we're coming like into 84th Street and eventually making it over to the heart of the houses. And that's, this is what the houses look like from above. You always get to see them from down here, but you want to see what they look like from above too, right? Looks pretty bright. You can understand how it'd be very easy for a plane to land on one of these streets without having any problems. All right, we were coming up to 83rd Street. We're gonna look at some of these houses. Now, I have names for all these houses, by the way, so you may hear me call out some of these houses by name, by a nickname. I call this the candy house. It looks like candy. It just looks like a candy house. It looks like a whole bunch of candy sprinkles. So a lot of beautiful houses. What we're about to do right now is, here's a guy with no headlight. He's got one headlight on. How is he supposed to see who's on the road? Real nice. Anyway, we're gonna walk up to what I call the Las Vegas house. Because it just got that Las Vegas kind of feel. If you're feeling lucky, this is the house to go to. This is not the house right now. This house I'm looking at is not the Las Vegas. It's the house with the green, tree up there. So we're getting there. You got this house here. It's a pretty house. And we'll get up to this house right now. So this house is a favorite for a lot of people. It's a favorite for me because my favorite color is green. But it just, I don't know, whenever I look at it, I think of Las Vegas. Excuse me, I just coughed right into the microphone. I'm sure you saw the weather report I threw out earlier. It is cold. Continues to be cold. Here we are. The Las Vegas house. Maybe you call it the Grinch house. It's so green. Look at this. This is absolutely every time I come here. And I've taken some nice pictures of this house. I actually, years ago, did a lot of the photography for these houses. Some of the pictures are still used in a lot of the tour bus brochures. And this is one house that I got some nice pictures of years ago. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut to the next spot. We're gonna go all the way down to 13th Avenue, right by the post office, and get onto 84th Street. And we're gonna start the major part of the walk. I know you're probably like wondering, well, this has already been major so far, but we're trying to get through all of the locations in a way where we don't I guess don't burn people out. But how at this point, how can we not burn people? So many lights. And some people could be like, there's just too many lights. You got those people, not me, man. And I'm sure all of you watch and love this. So we will be right back. All right, so now we are on 13th Avenue, and now we will start walking up some of the big streets. If you feel we haven't walked up the big streets yet, up to this point. And we're pretty much close by to where I live. We've now made our way back. Remember, we started the walk at 70th Street over with the big house. And we're getting into the thick of it. We're about to hit some pretty big houses here as we turn the corner here. And we're getting up to 84th Street. And we'll be showing you some drone footage in a second, so stay tuned for that. Let's get around all the post office trucks. There's a post office over here. This is our local post office for the 11228 zip code. Here you go. So now this house, when you consider how long Dyker Lights has been going on, this is one of the new kids on the block, although they have been doing it for some years now. But this is not a house that has been doing it since the 1990s, more in the last 10 years. And it looks like they've added some stuff this year. They always add stuff. The one big thing that they add is these screens with these holographic characters. Now I'm gonna walk over to it because I would assume that if you're gonna put these screens here, you would want me to look at them. So there we go. I wouldn't say if that character is really Christmassy. Looks like that's my AI girlfriend right there. Here we go. Got some panda bears. Now last night I was on Joey Brooklyn Stream, so he was over here. So you probably saw some of these houses if you're on Joey Brooklyn Stream. I have no choice but to look at these houses every day when I, walk home in the neighborhood. Now this house, I don't have a name for this house. If this house was first, I would have called this the Las Vegas house. But the house that we went to with the green lights, that was around a long time, long before this house started decorating like this. And I don't know, I'll let you guys decide the name for this house. Beautiful house. Beautiful lights. And it looks like they got some holographic fish and flowers up there. If you look up by the windows, there's all different things are happening. They turn into birds. They go Santa Claus now. They got a tree. And then down here you have, if you look right in front of me, you got like a cat with wings flying around. So, all right, let's move along. We are coming into the to the main part. So what I want to show you guys right now is some drone footage. So right now the traffic is not so bad, but earlier when we shot some footage, as you can see here, this is the drone coming up the same block that we're walking up right now. This is 84th Street, and you can see, the amount of traffic at times that can come up this block. Years ago, they didn't have stop signs, And then they put stop signs on the corner, and now we have traffic lights on the corner. And that is because over the years there have been car accidents because people, tend not to look when they're driving. They're looking at the houses, and next thing you know, boom, they enter a car accident. I remember just a couple years ago when the stop signs were only there before the traffic lights, there were still car accidents. So they've now put traffic lights over here. Okay, so here we are. We got Santa. So you get Santa up there, reindeers, a lot of snowflakes. Got some houses across the street. And we're coming up to the main hub. We're not gonna go up 84th Street when we get to 12th. We're gonna hang a left. We're gonna go up 85th Street, come around like 11th Avenue, show some more drone footage, and we'll eventually end up at Lucy's house. And we'll also talk about one of the houses that was recently sold a couple years ago, and they decorate, but not like the last owner. But I'll throw up some pictures to show you what it looked like years ago. And it looks like they're decorating the house across the street over there. To my right, I could see somebody up there with lights hanging off of the balcony. So. Okay, so this house right here has become to be known as a snowflake house because of all the snowflakes on it. This house, believe it or not, I had done photography for this house, and I remember one of the owners had contacted me, and I had sent them one of the copies of the photos we did. And this is one of the photos right here. I'm putting it up on the screen for you. And she wanted to make copies for all the family. So, like I said earlier, I've done a lot of the photography for these houses. This looks kind of like the photograph I've taken in the past. Very nice house. The snowflake house. That's what I like to call it. This is what I was talking about. They got the traffic lights now. It used to be nothing, and then it was stop signs, and now it's traffic lights. And this house is getting decorated right now. You can kind of see those people hanging up there. You got the ladder up there. You got one guy doing this tree right here. Remember, it is not December 1st yet as I record this. It's November 29th, so we're still decorating in the neighborhood. And then here is the other snowflake house with the soldiers. And this is another house that I've done photos for, and I'll throw that photo up right now so you guys can see that. These are some of the photos that I've done in the past. And here we go. So now we're looking at this house. with the soldier. Now, back in the years, I think if you saw in the picture I just posted, back in the years, they used to have little figurines over here. They've since got rid of the figurines, and they just have like, you know, some Christmas ornaments and some Christmas gifts in the lawn here. You have a little kid taking a picture. Here we go. And we're going to go up to Lucy's house at the end, so we're not going to come. We're going to walk back down to 12th, and we're going to go around to 85th Street next. And I'm probably going to have to connect my battery back up because, you know, we're losing power because it's very cold out. So I'm probably going to be connecting my battery in a second. So that'll give me a chance to do that while we walk around the block. So I will be right back, and we'll continue. Alright, so I connected my battery. So I'm now holding my battery pack in my hand because the cable is short. And we're back at the snowflake house. I wanted to get these snowmen for all of you. I remember years ago when these snowmen came out and they got the big bright eyes, the glowing eyes. I don't see them glowing anymore, but we used to think that they were creepy. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk. Let's check this house real quick. And we're going to go up 85th, and now we're going to really start getting to the end of it eventually. We're going to hit 85th Street, go up to 11th. And we're going to start walking up. So we get a little dark here for a second. And what I'll do is I'll show you guys some drone footage. Again, some more drone footage. And this is a bird's eye view looking down. This is what it looks like coming down. Well, not coming down, but flying over, but looking down. So you see, I timed it really well. So if you're wondering how I'm doing the drone footage was already recorded, and I kind of, in my head, I know where I'm going to put the footage. So it's kind of hard to do. It's like thinking like a producer. And so it's not like I'm putting the drone footage right up on the screen for you right now. I'm doing it later in editing, but I know ahead of time where I'm going to put it, and I have to keep in mind when I start talking where I'm going to, you know, when to put it, so that when I'm talking it doesn't, you know, like it lines up and it makes sense to all of you. So right now we're on 85th Street. And you just saw probably maybe in the bird's eye view looking down, we had flown over this house earlier. We got some soldiers guarding the property. There we go. So, you know, earlier we dispelled one myth, that all these houses get free electricity. That is not true. Another myth that we hear sometimes that is not true, and that is, we're going to walk up 85th Street here, and that is that when the people sell the house, the new owners have to, you know, continue the Christmas lights. That is not true. Obviously, the new owners will come and they will decide what they want to do. We've seen where a house gets sold and it doesn't do Christmas lights there. We've seen that. So, a lot of times what happens is, someone sells the house, they're going to do what they want, especially if they don't celebrate Christmas. That's the really important thing here. If the person doesn't celebrate Christmas, they're not entitled in any way to continue the tradition of lighting up the lights. Now, that being said, it is definitely something that is done. It is a courtesy that does get handed over to new owners. But I've seen some other channels, come down here and they say, oh yeah, when these houses get sold, the next owner has to do it. It's a stipulation in the agreement to sell. That is not true. Whatever the new owner wants to do with the house, that's what they want to do. And we'll even see proof of that on the next block when I show you the house. I'm going to show you some pictures of what the house used to look like and what it looks like now. And you'll see, not all the newer owners of the houses do the same thing. They may not decorate, or they may not do the same exact decorations. This is a nice house. My camera is actually charging. I've got a very good battery pack. So not only does it feed power, it puts out more than it uses. And it charges. So we were down to 30%, and in the last 5 minutes we're up to 38%. Like I said, this is our first walk. We'll be doing more. They're not going to be, as it's dark outside, without the lights. So we can't always do the walks that we normally do on the channel, where we just continue to walk around. The exception is this neighborhood because it's always lit. All the houses are lit. We're going to get onto 11th Avenue and talk about these houses, and we're going to show you some more drone footage, but let's just hang out. I hope everybody enjoys the drone footage part. Not a lot of people do the drone footage part. Just to give you a little heads up, I do have a drone license. I am certified with the FAA to fly my drone commercially and at night. And what that means is basically I can fly and film and use that footage on my YouTube channel. The certification that I'm talking about is called the Part 107. If you are a drone pilot, you know what that is. If you're an aspiring drone pilot, get it. Seriously. It will make your life a lot easier if you want to really get into the commercial side of it. So I shot some drone footage of these houses because these houses are pretty high and they look really nice from the air. These are probably the nicest houses from the air. So here you are. I'm showing that footage right now. Well, this is the drone coming in from the direction of 86th Street going towards 83rd Street. And you can see how the houses look from above. Very nice. These, like I said, these are the best houses from the aerial view. And you can see as we are flying across, you can see these two houses. Now this house in front of me, the house with the red trees and the red and the green trees, this house has been used in a couple of TV shows and movies. I actually shot some footage with the GoPro a few years back as they were filming one of those TV shows. We're going to come over here. They're selling ice cream. And just so you know, it is 30 degrees outside. Actually, it might be even 29 degrees outside right now. So you need your ice cream kick with 29 degree temperatures. By all means, go for it. Here we go. Bad camera technique. I got a car in front of me. Hold on. There we go. And you just saw this house from above. Beautiful house. All right. There's an ice cream truck, everyone. There you go. The one lone ice cream truck. But pay attention. Okay, I want you to see there is 2 signs on the side of that truck, and it says hot chocolate. So that is probably what they're selling a lot of. I could see these ladies here look like they got hot chocolates in their hands. So and don't worry, we are going to wrap up the walk. We get down to Lucy's house. But this is earlier I was talking about, we were talking about the Scrooge house. This is where it used to be. And this is a newer house on the property. And let me get into the street here. I got some people walking by. I don't want to get in the way. So if you remember, we did the walk just last week. It seemed like, where we were looking at these houses during the daytime when they weren't lit up. But this right here is a newer house on the property. There used to be an older house on the property, and that house used to do the Scrooge decorations right here on this property years ago, many years ago. We're talking 1994, we're going way back when it all started. And you'd come over here and, you know, they'd have everything. They'd have like all the houses from the movie. They'd have all the ghosts. And this is where they did it, right here. But years later, this is a newer house. Now, what they didn't do this year, I noticed, is the trees are not lit up. Now, they usually light these trees up. So if you go back in my my library and look at some of the old Christmas walks I did with the GoPro, you'll see that these trees are usually lit up. They didn't light them up this year. Maybe they will. It's still early. This house right here has always done lights, but this is more than they normally do. This is a new one in the sense that they've really upgraded their display. Okay, this house was not always like this. I think they started doing it like this last year. Like I said, you could go back to my old videos. We could look at the old videos and see. But I never remember the house being this amazing. This is really amazing. Welcome to Christmas at the Vitales. Established 2017. Well, I don't think that the decorations look this good since 2017. I'd have to look good. I have to look back at my footage because I mean, this is amazing. Very beautiful house. Let's, I know there's a house across the street that's usually lit, but they're not lit yet. Looks like they're not lit tonight. They have it off, so we won't look over there. Here you go. Got the Santa Claus out there. That Santa Claus, it seems like everyone's using that same Santa Claus this year. Okay. All right, we're gonna head up the block to one of my favorite houses. I'm gonna warn you all now. Remember how I said earlier I have names for all the houses? So this house, we'll look at this house real quick, but I'll tell you the name I give the house up the block that we're about to see is the Griswold house. All right, the Griswold house. You've all seen the Christmas Vacation movie. If you're watching this walk, you have seen that movie. Okay? I'm not even gonna, I don't even want to hear it if you've never seen that movie. But if you've seen the movie, you know what he does in that movie, how the way he just throws the lights everywhere, like he just throws them all in a line. He drapes the whole roof and he drapes the entire house with lights. No rhyme or reason, just goes up on the roof with the staple and is stapling that roof with all those lights. Well, this house reminds me of that. You'll see in a second. Although it looks much different this year. They did colored lights, but I've seen them do white lights and stuff. They got the big snowman. And I know that they have a Santa Claus in the window in a TV screen, so we'll see if they still have that. And then they also do the driveway. And they also decorate their skeletons because they leave their Halloween decorations up. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna go here, and they do have one of their skeletons still out. And as you can see, this is just crazy. It's just draped with lights. Oh my God, I love this. I always love this house. This is the best house. And yeah, the Santa Claus is in the window. You see the Santa Claus right above the Merry Christmas. Just hold on, he'll be back. There he is. And he walks around like he's lost. He'll come back. There he goes. He's like sneaking around. There he is. See? And that is a big screen. That is by the window. Okay. Like I said, this is one of my favorite houses over the last few years. Here is the skeleton. Let's not forget the inflatables. And you're about to see something really cool, so get ready. Now we got the snow machine. It's snowing. I don't know if you guys could see the snow in the camera, but it is snowing right now. Let me do a quick walk by. I know these people, I don't want to block these people's way, so I'll go through. There's people here, so I can't stop in front of them. We got inflatables up there. And we got some houses up here we're going to look at. See, this is going to be the biggest, probably the biggest walk. And there's still a lot of houses to look at, and that's why we like to break this up in a few walks, but this is really the biggest one. So we go all out on this one. And we're going to end it where it all started, okay? So Get ready, we're about to go down 84th Street.
Mira. No me cobraban mucho.
Por lo menos que sirva para el paseo acelerado.
We will take a look at this house. Got the big wreath, the green wreath. Some colorful trees in the gate over here. Okay. My battery power for my camera is up to 60%. This is a really good battery pack. It's putting out a lot more power than I'm sucking up. So this battery pack that I'm using, it's the battery pack that I use to charge my camera in between walks. I very rarely will pull it out and connect and do the walk with the battery, but you know, it is cold out and unfortunately my camera battery is getting zapped. There goes Mickey and Santa. All right, so and like I said, this is the Griswold house. This is a house that I call the Griswold house. If you've seen the movie, this is the way those lights are thrown on the roof, just draped. And I love it. I think it's great. And I know some people might say, oh, that's too much. But you know what? It's Christmas, man. It's one time a year. It's just one time a year, man. You got to have fun. You know, if you got to look at it this way. If it was too much, people wouldn't come look. I know that sounds like kind of like an odd thing to say. You know? Because some people might say, oh, you know, they're still going to look. You know, everyone wants to look at a train wreck. But no way. Not with that house. I mean, I think that house is... I love that house. I've always loved coming to that house every year and looking at it. So we're going to end it now down at Lucy's house. Lucy's house is the angel house. And we'll talk about it. We're coming back past some of the houses we passed already. I'm going to throw some drone footage up in a second so you guys can see 84th Street, what it looks like when we're flying down. Here we go. Walking back past this house. I'm telling you, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember this house ever being this crazy. So maybe I have amnesia or short-term memory loss. I just don't ever remember that house being that decorated. All right, we are going to now get down the block and we are going to end the walk where it all started. You have Lucy's house and you have the house across the street. I believe the man that used to live there was Al, and I believe, I could be wrong, that he had passed away years ago, and the house recently was sold and is under new ownership, and it doesn't look the same. And I'll share some pictures of what it used to look like, and we'll talk about, you know, the Santa Claus that used to be on that property, how big it was. It had a camera, it had a speaker. I'm still holding the battery in my other hand, but I could probably take the battery out now because I think this camera is going to stay charged, so I'm going to do that. If you guys are watching Joey Brooklyn's cast, this is where I made my little cameo. We're on the corner of 11th Avenue and 84th Street. It's a very nice house. I remember when they built this house. Well, I don't want to say built it, but when they put all this stuff many years ago, when this house was renovated. Like a long time ago, like before I even joined the military. 1990s, like in that time zone. All right, I'm gonna pull the, give me 1 second here. I just pulled the battery out. Because this thing literally charged my battery up to 70%. That's crazy. It's putting out a lot more power. If you saw my Owl's Head Park walk, I talked about the highest points in Brooklyn. This is one of them. You can see as we're coming over this hill here, we're in a very high point. You can see how it's downhill, looking down there. We're at about 50 feet above sea level over here. Here you go. Very pretty house. Yeah, we got some houses over here. The smaller houses. Well, not the smaller houses. Houses are big, but you know, the smaller displays. Just regular lights stuff. But we're gonna be ending at Lucy's house. So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna throw up some drone footage. And this is what this block, the block that I'm on now, this is what it looks like as we're coming down the block. And as you watch the drone come down, you will see Lucy's house and all the other houses. You'll see the Snowflake house. All right, so we are in front of the second to last house we'll be looking at tonight. This is a house that used to look much different years ago. Much, much different. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stand in front and I'm going to show you guys a picture. Now, this house is currently under construction. They're renovating it. It was recently bought, I think, don't quote me, but I was looking at estimated values and it was like $2.3 million. A lot of money. All right, so I want to show what the house looks like right now. Okay, and now what you're looking at is a picture of what it used to look like back in the day. And that Santa Claus that you're looking at, that Santa Claus was about 20 feet, about 15 feet tall. And it had a camera and a little speaker, so he would talk to the kids. He could see the kids in the camera, and he would talk to them. And he would also say things to people if he felt that they shouldn't have been going past the line. And he had all these different figurines dancing around up on the balcony. It was a much different house back in the day. The new owners here, they're like I said, they are renovating the house, and you can see they did put lights on it. And it looks nice. Just doesn't look like the way it used to. And here we are at Lucy's house. Now this house is what started it all. We're going to get there in a second. We're going to stay back because it's always crowded. Everybody comes to this house. We'll get in there. We'll walk by. I don't care if I get in people's way. I don't really care. So this house, the reason it's called the Angel House is that when she first started it, little backstory, her mother loved angels. And when her mother passed away many years ago, to pay tribute to her mom, she started decorating the house with a whole bunch of angels. And in the beginning, you could imagine it was like the only house in the neighborhood that had all these Christmas decorations. But over the years, her house and Al's house up here started really decorating, and they were known as the first two houses. That's the way I look at it. I don't know if there was another second house, but they were the first two houses that I remember back when I was a teenager in the 90s, that everybody would just drive the cars up and look. Now, I was saying earlier, it's never always been like this, and it hasn't. I'd say in the last 15 to 20 years, it's gotten really big. I would say the tour buses started showing up. The tour buses started showing up around 2008, 2009. And since then, it's just continues to grow and continues to blow up. And now we'll get close, a little closer, because people are moving around. And this is the house that you really come to at the ends of the walk. Everybody ends up at this house. And now I'll get a little closer. Here are the angels. See, so these angels right here. These are some of the original. These are the original angels that she had going up the stairs back in the day. They're down here right now. You can see she's added a lot of stuff over the years. These are the original angels from a long time ago when she started decorating the house. Got some people taking pictures in Santa's seat. Getting right up here. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Lucy also does the food stands at the St. Gennaro Feast and the 18th Avenue Feast. You've probably bought food from her. So make sure when those feasts come around again next summer to help support her. Because this costs a lot of money. I said earlier, you know, there are people out there that say that they get free electricity, and that is not true. Oh, sorry. It's getting crowded. Stepped on somebody's foot. Hope I didn't break their toe. All right, guys, this is it. We're going to end it. We are going to end it here. I'm going to start walking home, which is not too far from here. I want to thank everybody for coming out for this nice, long Christmas walk. This is our first walk. There'll be more. We're going to be going into the city and looking at the Christmas lights in the city. Tonight, as we record this tonight, they are lighting the Rockefeller Christmas tree. So as this is being recorded, it is Wednesday night, and they are lighting up the tree tonight. So we'll be out in the city to look at the tree. And then, of course, we'll do our regular walks that we've been doing, that we always do. I want to thank everybody for coming by and getting, you know, a perspective from somebody that lives in the neighborhood, right? So I've been living in the neighborhood for 40 years. So, and it never gets old. It never gets old. And we'll end it at the house that is getting decorated right now. This house is currently getting decorated. We're going to end it with some decorating action. We'll get to show these people. I didn't mention earlier that some houses decorate their house, and then some have professional companies that do it. And this is one of those companies that do the houses. They're also landscaping companies. So a lot of the landscaping companies that come and do, you know, the lawn and the trees all year, you know, and in the spring and summer, they also have like a side, like a subdivision of their landscaping business that also does the Christmas lights. And that's what you're seeing here. A lot of these guys also, they don't just, so these guys don't just work during Christmas. They work all year. They do the landscaping also during the year, but the companies have subdivisions where they also do the Christmas lights. You can see there, this guy right here, wrapping some lights up. All right, everybody. I hope that you all like this walk. We'll be doing some more. I hope everybody enjoyed the drone footage. That's something that the other casters are not doing. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we will catch everyone on the next Christmas walk or in the next walk or wherever we're going to be walking. So good night, everyone.